I hope you're having a great day, and I hope it only gets better. Welcome to Warframe. Before we get into the video, of course, we have to highlight the comment of the week. I picked out this comment here from Mikhail3336, where they say these videos are perfect background noise for painting minis. This specifically was on the Let's Draw that I posted last week, but in general, that's the style of content I go for anyway, so this comment makes me very happy. If you would like to be the next comment of the week, leave a comment down below. I don't have a theme for this week, so it can be anything you want. It could be silly, it could be stupid, it can be something completely unrelated and just an absolute anecdote that relates to absolutely nothing, and who knows, you might be the next comment of the week. With that out of the way, on to the actual video. Those who have been around for quite some time will probably be familiar with my history with Warframe on YouTube. But for those of us who are new to my channel, or those who don't recognize me because of my rebranding near the start of 2024, here's a little catch up for you. This channel used to be known as JR Jericho, and while it was still a variety channel like it is now, it did feature a heavy focus on Warframe content for an extended period of time. My most notable creations that I'm sure at least a few of you will remember are, of course, the types of players in Warframe and more types of players in Warframe. These two videos, created in 2017 when I was essentially a different person, still rest as my highest viewed videos I've ever posted, despite being low effort shitposts from a time when I didn't consider YouTube to be a serious endeavor for myself to undertake. Types of Players is sitting at 2.1 million views, and More Types is sitting at around 650,000 views at the time of me making this video. So there's a good chance that if you're watching Warframe content and have been playing for a while, you most likely have seen Types of Players, and you probably didn't know I was the one who made it. While I am not proud of these videos in the slightest, forever lamenting the fact that those were the things that YouTube decided to show everyone and not my content I actually put effort into, I have to recognize that it is because of these videos' success that I decided to commit myself to making content on YouTube, and the reason I am here on a whole. Oh, and if anyone is curious why those videos have the comments turned off, I needed to do that because I was getting notified basically every day of hundreds of hate comments from people who didn't understand that the videos were satire, and it was really taking a toll on my mental health, so I unfortunately had to take the comments off of those videos. On a more positive note for myself, the second most notable thing about my time with Warframe YouTube was my series Warframe Built to Destroy. This series started out as a way to show off underappreciated weapons and how to build them to be much more effective, but soon shifted to a simple gear spotlight series where I showed off my personal builds for different Warframes and weapons that were considered off-meta or just otherwise bad. This series saw a moderate amount of success, which I was very much happy with, though of course I do wish it saw even a modicum of the success that Types of Players did. With that brief catch-up out of the way, let's segue into the bulk of this video. My subscribers may be wondering why this video is coming out late, being published on Wednesday instead of Sunday like normal. That's because today is Wednesday the 26th of June 2024, and that date officially marks the 10-year anniversary of when I first started playing Warframe. I first created my Warframe account on the 26th of June 2014, back when I was but a wee bab of 14 years old and had no idea what gender dysphoria was, or that I'd be struggling with it for the next 4 to 5 years. During this time, my brother and I would duo every mission we could, playing Warframe together pretty much every day. He saw a screenshot of Rhino wielding Fragger on the Steam page back then, and I saw Banshee in the Codex while watching him play, and those were the fateful events that led me down a road of thick biomechanical mech suits, wacky and over-the-top weapons to be built however I please, and almost 8,500 hours of playtime. Over the course of this extensive time spent on a single game, my opinions on various aspects of it changed and evolved with each major update. The removal of the stamina bar, the addition of bullet jumping and advanced parkour, Operation Gate Crash introducing Orokin sabotage missions, the introduction of Riven mods giving off-meta weapons a chance to be utilized in endgame content, hundreds of new weapons and dozens of new Warframes to be added to the game. Each of these changes shifted and moved my thoughts around, making me enjoy things I used to hate and hate things I used to enjoy alike. I'd see the introduction of Warframes that would become mainstays of my arsenal: Korra, Garuda, Yoreli, and, chief among them, Varuna. But even amidst all of these frames I've come to love, there has always been one Warframe I have loved more than all else. A Warframe I loved so much that I had to put them in their own special category of favorite, just so I had the chance to let my favorite Warframe shift around without letting them dive bomb from their pedestal above the funnel clouds. A Warframe I was so obsessed with that I passionately ranted about their deluxe skin never being finished, and ranted when we were given an entirely different skin in its place. A Warframe I dedicated myself to build to be usable in every possible scenario to fully utilize the sheer amount of versatility that they were capable of. A Warframe that, no matter what, always had my back. I am, of course, speaking of none other than Zephyr, the turbulent queen of the skies herself. Zephyr is a female Warframe that functions as a wind elemental and features incredibly avian and bird-like styling, her design featuring such things as a beak, wings, and talons. She harbors the power of flight and bends and shifts the very air around her to reign supreme over the battlefield in any scenario. Her ability Tailwind gives her incredible mobility, flashing through the air like a supersonic jet, while also enabling her to hover in place for aerial superiority before crashing down on her enemies in a plate-shifting dive bomb. Airburst allows her to cast forward a pocket of super compressed air, which can suck in helpless enemies in order for a follow-up attack, or send them flying away with a rapid outward expulsion, giving her room to breathe. Turbulence surrounds Zephyr in a chaotic, powerful wind tunnel that redirects any and all projectiles away from her, leaving her completely unscathed and immune to all conventional ranged weapons, and can even provide her with increased movement speed and faster projectiles herself when used in tandem with its augment, Jetstream. And Tornado summons 3 large, twisting tornadoes that wreak havoc on her enemies, picking them up and throwing them around helplessly, while Zephyr can use them to inflict unified damage on every enemy caught in the rampaging storm. These abilities' mixture of AoE damage and crowd control ensure that Zephyr can be used to take care of almost any scenario completely by herself, so long as you prepare for the proper task beforehand, while also giving her enough flexibility to be able to have a general build for all missions, letting you simply sit back and play without worry. I posit that Zephyr is one of the single most versatile Warframes in the entire game, capable of filling any role, especially now that you can borrow abilities from other Warframes with the helmet. Want an insanely high damage Warframe to annihilate your enemies with? Give her a high range build, optionally with decent strength, and use her Tailwind Augment mod, Target Fixation, to give her 1 infinite damage scaling and pulverize any that stand in your way. Want a Stonewall Defense Warframe? Give her a high-range, max-duration build to protect your cryopods and excavators with her unrelenting tornadoes and impenetrable turbulence shield. Want a supportive healer Warframe that can hold her own? Give her a max-range, high-strength build and infuse an ability like Well of Life or Blood Altar to ensure your allies are tucked securely under your wing at all times. Want an insanely fast racing Warframe that will leave your opponents in the dust? Give her a max-duration, high-strength build, coupled with a few parkour mods and infuse infested mobility to become a hypersonic missile built for raw velocity. Zephyr is a Warframe that works perfectly fine out of the box, but can quickly snowball into one of the single best Warframes in the entire game once you dedicate yourself to building her in whatever specific way you want her to be, or whatever niche you want her to fill. This fact, mixed with my passionate love for birds and scrumptious hips, have cemented Zephyr as my #1 favorite Warframe above all else until the end of time. As I mentioned earlier, I love Zephyr so much that I quite literally hold her in a special little spot above all the other Warframes, so I can say my favorite Warframe is something else without diminishing my love for Zephyr specifically. Currently, right now, my favorite quote-unquote Warframe is probably Varuna. I really like Varuna. Not quite as much as Zephyr, but she's up there. I own every item in Warframe relating to Zephyr, including every helmet, every skin, every noggle, every glyph, and yes, of course, her full Prime access, including Tiburon Prime, Cronen Prime, and the Commodore Prime suit and Tybor Prime Kavat armor and Gene masking kit. Zephyr and Zephyr Prime are sitting at my 3rd and 2nd most used Warframes, period. Only behind base Saren because I played her way too much in the early days before my clan got a Tentalab. So, seeing as how my dedication to Zephyr and my profile stats will only change over time once I finally use Zephyr Prime enough to usurp Saren, I had to think of some way I can show my dedication to Zephyr before that time comes. And so, we've come to the reason I am sharing this video with you today. I have acquired over 100 Zephyrs.
You what?
This includes the Prime I have from when I farmed her when she came out, as well as the 2nd Prime I received for buying her Prime access. When it comes to base Zephyr though, I own exactly 100. Not only do I own 100 Zephyrs, but I have even given each and every single one of them their own unique fashion setups, which I will be sharing at the end of this video, so make sure to watch all the way through if you're curious about that. Now, some of you may be wondering, gee whiz, Vixie, that sure is a lot of birds. You must have spent a whole lot of money to get all of them.
Wrong!
Surely I could have just coughed up the 27,500 platinum to just buy all 100 Zephyrs and save me a bunch of time and resources. Unfortunately, that would be $1,290, so that wasn't fucking happening. So yes, it may have taken over 2.5 years to do once I started, but I built 100 Zephyrs. I didn't rush anything either, so I just had to wait. I had to build a systems, chassis, and their optics 100 times and wait over 1,200 hours for those to finish, because obviously I wasn't building and claiming every single one of these every 12 hours on the dot. That would just be insane. I had to build 100 Zephyrs and wait 3 days for each one of them to be finished before I could start building the next one. I had to buy 100 Warframe slots to house these Zephyrs, meaning I spent 2,000 platinum, the equivalent of $100, on exclusively Warframe slots. It is a damn good thing that the trading system in this game is great, because I was not about to drop $100 on Warframe slots alone. I consumed 100 Orokin cells, 100 control modules, 5,000 Rubido, 15,000 credits, 40,000 plastids, 50,000 salvage, 70,000 polymer bundles, 90,000 nanospores, and 60,000 oxium to craft 100 Zephyrs. Also costing me 9 million credits to replicate the blueprints, craft them, and craft every Zephyr. All of those resources, all of those credits, 2.5 years, and fucking 60,000 oxium. And I finally have 100 Zephyrs. If I hear one more person complain about Vauban Prime needing 7,000 oxium, I'm gonna go postal. But thankfully, I can now rest. A while ago, I could. This project's been done for a while. I just wanted to save the video about it for my 10-year anniversary, so here we are. Anyway, with that, I thank you all for tuning in. I hope this shows you just how much Zephyr means to me, because if it doesn't, I genuinely don't know what the fuck will. And if anyone from Digital Extremes is watching this, which I hope at least someone is, because I'm probably going to share this video on the forums, can we please get the original Zephyr Deluxe? I'll take a new Deluxe, so long as it's like pretty and bird themed, but I really, really like the skin that Carrie made, so I'd love if we finally got it soon. With that, I will offer a short plug for my Patreon and a shout out to all of my current patrons, and after that, I'll share my 100 Zephyr fashions for you all, just in case you're looking for a new look. A huge shout out to all of my current patrons. Your support is very much appreciated. If you want to support me in the channel, you can do so on Patreon for just $5 a month, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks, such as work in progress art, whether it be for thumbnails or just something I happen to be working on, full resolution art and thumbnail art, and most importantly, you'll get early access to videos and access to a special channel where I host all of my uncut and director's cut content for your viewing pleasure. Additionally, once I get enough patrons to support this kind of thing, I'll even start taking suggestions from my patrons for games to play on the channel. If any of that strikes your fancy, make sure to head down to the link in the description and check out my Patreon. Once again, a huge shout out to all of my current patrons, and now we will close off this video with a brief look at all 100 fashion setups I've made for my 100 Zephyrs. If you genuinely enjoyed this video, consider dropping a like and make sure to hit that subscribe button to become a pup if you haven't already, and to hit the bell so it actually does something. If you want to support me and the channel, you can do so on Patreon for just $5 a month and you'll get a bunch of cool perks. My name is Vixie, and I'll see you all in the next one.